So I've been seeing a bunch of videos in the past couple weeks of people speedrunning the Simpsons intro, and I managed to pull a 24.29 on the Gamecube re-release using the Dolphin emulator. This is the 1993 patch, and I'm going to show you how I did it. Alright, here we go. That's it. How you feeling?
Holy shit! Holy shit! I need a fucking blanket after that! Holy shit!
Alright, so there it is. And a lot of people say that speedrunning these early releases of the Simpsons intro is a waste of time since it's almost entirely scripted and there's not really much time to save. Which is true, but there are a few points which player input is red, and it becomes possible to skip a few sections of the intro. Typical run is around 1 minute and 20 seconds, so it is possible to make pretty good time. And again, this is the GameCube re-release. I think a lot of the talk about how speedrunning isn't worth it due to the Nintendo 64 and Dreamcast versions, where these big skips aren't possible since most of it is scripted. This run didn't abuse any controller detection either, which is pretty common in these GameCube games. So for the first part, you have to wait until the camera enters the classroom with Bart. As far as I know, there's no way to speed this part up. And there are a few bugs here, but abusing them will either crash the game or nothing will happen at all. So, right when the bell rings, you can do the menu trick to clip Bart through the door and immediately equip the skateboard and start the transition to the front door of the school where Bart will skateboard out. Once the skateboard is equipped, you can actually do the skateboard jump early, which will trick the game into thinking Bart has already left the building and the doors won't open. You actually have to do the double jump on the exact same tick, or else this won't work. It's actually really hard to pull off. I can only get it maybe 1 in 20 tries. If you do another menu skip right when the doors were supposed to open, Bart will already be at the Simpsons house ready to jump on Homer's car. If you don't do the menu skip, the doors will never open, and the camera will stay facing the doors until the game's reset. Anyway, the next trick will initiate the Homer at the power plant sequence. If you do another menu trick right at the first frame of the sequence, Homer will take off his mask a few seconds quicker than usual. There is a way to skip the sequence entirely, but for a skip later on, you have to let the sequence end on its own, because it utilizes the plutonium rod glitch, which is never actually placed into Homer's inventory if the scene is skipped. So the game then moves on to the checkout sequence, and the textures in this area, as you can see, are broken. I'm not exactly sure why this happens, but I've noticed that the textures are reused from the power plant. And from what I can gather, if the textures are broken, that means you did the power plant sequence right. Then you can do another menu skip on the same tick that the clerk is rendered, which will immediately bag all the groceries and end the cutscene on the exact frame Maggie is scanned, which is a kinda cool 2-for-1 glitch. And this next part took a long time to figure out, and I'm still not exactly sure why it works. This is also where the plutonium rod glitch pays off. On the first frame, Homer in his car is rendered. You have to hit Z for the emergency brake, press X twice to put the car in reverse, and left on the D-pad to equip the plutonium rod from Homer's inventory. You have to have your driving mode in manual, by the way. If you do it right, the game will freeze and won't render anything except Homer's car, and you have to menu trick to get out. I'm not sure exactly why this happens. My theory is that it's trying to do the plutonium rod transition, put Homer in his driveway, and start the Bart skateboard cutscene at the exact same time. This might be why you can see the plutonium rod bounce for a few seconds after the menu skip. Also because Bart is already at the house, so he can't perform the jump in order to hit the plutonium rod in the next cutscene. But that's just my theory though. I don't really feel like poring over thousands of lines of hex in the ROM dump to figure out exactly what happens. Okay, so this next part is by far the hardest. And I know it looks like a normal menu trick, but there's a lot more to it than that. So for years, everyone thought that the driveway, garage, and couch gag were unskippable. You had to let those scenes play out. There were a few glitches with specific couch gags that work, but everyone thought that the sequence had to be initiated. But this is not the case. Also, I don't take any credit for finding this. I remember reading a forum post a few years ago where the guy suggested that a skip like this is possible, and I'll update the description when I find out who made that post. So anyway, I said earlier that Bart's already rendered at the driveway, right? Normally the game will do the skate jump off of Homer's car automatically, but if you do another skateboard jump glitch, it will force the game to load the frame where Bart jumps off of the car. This is where it gets crazy. On the exact tick when Bart hits the ground, you have to do a triple jump, which means you have to do another double jump, drop the skateboard, pick it up again, and do another jump. In the forum post, the guy said that this would set Bart's speed to negative 0.01, and since there aren't any points in the game that account for a negative speed, the game gets confused and gives Bart essentially infinite momentum, initiating the couch gag, but the camera is still outside, so you can't see it. And the game is now trying to render both scenes simultaneously, which causes a lot of lag. This gives you just enough of a window to do another menu trick to force Homer out of the car, render both Marge and Maggie, which makes the game think the couch gag is complete, which forces the credits to roll. Honestly, it was a fluke that I got this, and I probably won't be able to pull all this off again. I'm not the best speedrunner in the world, and the other stuff was reasonably doable, but hitting the triple jump into the menu skip was a miracle. Could you get a faster time? You probably could. I know I hit a few of the glitches a few ticks after they were available, but I'm still happy with my time after hitting the triple jump. In summary, the glitches and exploits I used were the menu trick, classroom skip, double jump glitch, plutonium rod glitch, the checkout skip, the car glitch, and finally the triple jump glitch. And I hope you learned something, and maybe you can pull this off too.